Hey Nick, with them making a change at that offensive coordinator, how much does that change for you guys in your preparation?
Yeah, you got to go back and you got to look at some things that Coach Kitchens did at Cleveland and some of those things like that. So of course you look for every advantage, every edge, some of the tendencies, things. You got to go back and look at what they had, because it's a different. Like I've said this before in here, like it's a different play caller. So there's going to be different looks. There's going to be different things that he does and that Coach Garrett didn't do, or vice versa. So that we just got to be ready for everything. And so when you don't know exactly what you're getting, you got to play your rules, and you got to play your rules on each individual defense that you get.
Do it on a short week with a holiday mixed in.
How are they doing it? I don't know.
No, you doing it?
How big a wrinkle is this?
Yeah, again, it's a change. I think if anybody, if Shane was calling plays as opposed to me, or if Kevin was calling plays, or Brian Johnson, or anybody, it's gonna look different. We understand that everybody, and same thing. If Gannon's not calling the defense and Denard Wilson was, like, it's gonna look. There's gonna be different things. So again, when that stuff like that happens, like you got to go back to. I think I've talked about this before, in unscouted looks. Like, you got to go back and you got to play your rules and everything. And so every defense, every offense has rules written into it if you get different looks. So that's where our preparation in the offseason, our preparation throughout each week is gonna really pay dividends.
Nick, we saw Davion Taylor had surgery yesterday. What was the knee injury? Was it a tear? And is you expect him back this season?
Well, he had surgery. Again, we could get him back, and nothing's ruled out right yet. And so I don't want to give a timetable on anything there. But it was his knee. I don't know exactly if it was exactly the terminology of what it was or anything like that. But is his knee that he needed surgery on, and that he could be back later in the season.
What's the update on Brandon Brooks?
Yeah, I don't have one. I don't have one yet.
Will he be the starter will he be right back in the starting lineup?
Yeah, again, we don't have to make any decisions right yet about anything, because we don't have any. I don't have any new updates for you. So I'll stay tight-lipped on that.
Has he had a setback, or is he?
Again, not a lot of new information on that. So sorry.
You've been the best team in the NFL on third downs over the last month. Why have you had that success, and how demoralizing is it to a defense when Jalen can make plays with his legs and run for first down?
Yeah, I think that's an extra added element that you have is when your quarterback can get out of trouble and create with his legs, whether that's a running play or a passing play that breaks down in some way, some shape, some form. And so that's a big advantage to have. I think, if you look at teams that are high on third down, I think they have, or in the past, they've had that ability to create with the quarterbacks had that ability to create with his legs. And so that's a huge advantage. And obviously to keep the chains moving, I think, when the chains are moving and you're converting third downs, right, that's more opportunities for more plays, which means more points, which means more run attempts, which means more opportunities for guys on the field to get touches. And so that's a huge part of our preparation, obviously, which it is in everybody in the NFL, is that situational football, that third down and red zone. And so I think when you're running the ball the way we are and moving the sticks consistently the way you are, you always got to look at, and we're scoring the points the way we are. I think it always is like, well, okay, they're moving it well different ways. All right, but they're staying in phase, and they're staying on the field because they're converting third downs. They're scoring a lot more points because they're doing well in the red zone. So situational football is big.
JG has been blitzing more since the Raiders game, and what you said about what Nick, John, and both you said, hope that the defense would challenge more. Is this a direct result of that?
Yeah, again, I think you just start to find out what works for you, what's working better, and you kind of get on a roll. Again, every game is going to be a little bit different of how you play it, as you guys well know. But yeah, of course, like you adapt throughout the year. I think you double down on the things that you know are true, and then you adapt your schemes and you adapt your schedules and you adapt different things. That's a result of that.
Getting back to the change in New York, and a couple weeks ago in Denver, they didn't have Pat Shermer, different circumstance. But
In these times today, do you guys think about that more? Like there might be a change at a particular time?
Because of COVID? Yeah, I think you got to. And I think that everybody that you got to have, just like players, right? The next man's got to be up over and over with the defense, with special teams, with offense. And so that's definitely been something we've talked through. And is who's up, who's the next man up if something with COVID hits our coaching staff as well.
Hey, Nick, you said after the game that you got too conservative fourth quarter play calling. What's the process there? Like, what would you do differently, and how do you balance kind of wanting to move the clock, but maybe we need to put it up in the air?
Yeah, I think again, I think we got pretty run heavy, and again, that's kind of been what we've been doing this last month of the season. But that doesn't mean you just don't pass the football. And so I don't know. I called a screen that I didn't like to be to Rager. That it just the way their defensive ends were playing, I didn't love that call. And so I thought, okay, hey, I passed it there, and I was being a little conservative on the type of pass I used, and that's the one play that I really want back. But again, we were running the ball well. It was just it got a little bit sloppy, and I just felt like I started that with the way I was calling it.
In terms of not making the same mistake twice, what was your reaction when Miles ran out of bounds on that 4-minute drill?
Yeah, we pulled him out. We pulled him out of the game and just reminded him again to stay in bounds. I know he had 2 in Carolina, and so repeat offenders of things we usually get mad about, and he knows. And he would if he had that next carry and didn't have to come out of the game to be reminded to stay in bounds, he would have had 100 yards. So he found that out. He knows that, and we're working on getting it fixed. And I know Miles wants to get it fixed more than anybody.
What role did Jalen play in keeping whether it was morale up or the guys together when you guys were in some rockier waters?
Yeah, all the leaders on the team, Jalen in particular, was there. Again, just sticking to the process of going to work every single day. Of putting your head down and working every single day, and that's who he is. He's the same guy every single day, and that's not only a challenge when everyone tells you stink, but that's also a challenge when everyone tells you how good you are. And so that's the message today. And Jalen did an awesome job of that throughout some of the hard times, and so that's the challenge today, right? Is now everyone's telling you how good you are, and your family members probably are home here for Thanksgiving telling you how good you are. And so, but the message remains the same. Put your head down, work, do the things that we need to do to put ourselves in position to be 1-0 this week. And we know what that process is of what we need to do to put ourselves in position. And so, and Jalen has just been consistent and steady, and I think that's what you want out of your quarterback and out of a leader on the football team.
You've been by committee at running back. Is that the plan, or is that just the way things are? And are you willing to go hot hand if, let's say, Miles is
definitely willing to go hot hand, and definitely definitely willing to do that. But yeah, right now it's just been by committee, and we think that's working well. But if somebody gets hot, we got no doubt we'll stick with it.
Kind of along those lines, the last 4 games when you guys have run the ball so well, Kenny Gainwell hasn't really been a big part of that. What's your message to him? What does he need to do to kind of get back in that rotation?
Just stay ready. And my message to him is just stay ready, and that we still, I know he was not active last game, but we still have high hopes for him, and we still think very highly of him. He's still here to have a niche on this team, especially with his receiving ability. We just haven't used it a lot as these last couple weeks, and so. I think Kenny knows how much, it's tough, but he knows how much we respect him and how much we need him on this football team. And these things go like this sometimes in a season where it's, you're quiet, boom, you have a big game. And that's the way of this league. And so we're going to need him, and just keeping him into it, and which he's awesome. He's an awesome kid, and he'll be into it, and he's ready to go when his number's called.
In the meeting today, what was the theme or the message, and what example did you use to reinforce it?
Yeah, same thing I just kind of said to you guys was just, hey, make sure that our intensity at practice is the way it needs to be. Make sure that our detail in the meetings and on walkthrough is the way it needs to be and what it has been. because this week there are a lot of distractions, and you know it's Thanksgiving and the schedule's a little bit different. But you know, even though and I said even though I'm going home to spend time with my parents and my family and my wife and kids, I'm still going to make sure that I get my meeting stuff done. Everything I normally do in a week. It's just different of how you're handling it, right? So there's going to be extra meetings at lunch today. There's going to be extra meetings. There's going to be extra meetings tonight to all, you know, because we get them out a little bit earlier tomorrow. So they can be with their families, because that's so important, obviously, that we have to be that we want to be with our families on this holiday, but we still have to go through all the process that we go through each week, and so that just looks different of how it happens. But don't leave any stone unturned. Make sure we're going hard, and again, don't Nick Saban had an awesome message. Was that last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, of when people are telling you how good you are, what that is. You guys can look that up. But yeah. So just put your head down and work. And so as you guys can see, my message is pretty consistent. Whether we're we're won 3 or 4 last 4, or we started off 2 and 5, because it's all about how you put yourself in position to win the game on Sunday, and the only way you do that is by working yourself through the week and getting better every single day through the week.
Are you going walk through today?
We're doing walkthrough today, yeah. Again, with the late bye, we want to make sure our guys are healthy.
Physicality a lot the past couple of weeks, nastiness. Davion was a big part of that defensively. Are you confident you're still going to have that presence on the defense?
Yeah, the guys that are going to step in for him. Alex will take a brunt of that, or the most of that, and Sean and Patrick, and I'm very confident that they.
Sean's going to be ready for this.
I do, but again, that's me wishful thinking, so I kind of jumped the gun on that one. We'll see. We'll play that day by day.
Do you anticipate that every Wednesday will be a walkthrough? How do they respond to that?
We'll play that, after the bye. Again, we're doing it because we're a little bit later in the year and our bye's later, and so we'll play that by ear. I don't want to cement anything down right yet. But what I felt like last week is that we had a great Thursday practice. We had a great, when you do walkthrough as opposed to that when you do practice, you get a lot more reps. You get double the reps. And so that was good for us mentally. We were really sharp and crisp in that game that we had on Sunday. And so, again, we know how to get it done both ways, because this is practice schedules and how you walk through. Those are things that are constantly changing, right? That's not something we double down on. We constantly change that to do what's best for those players.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.